these states benefit mostly because, not necessarily because the production of the goods are done in their state, but because the head offices or the headquarters of these companies are located in there. That's Lagos, FCT, and Rivers. It noted that the proposed reform aimed to address the imbalance by introducing a formula which will be based on a derivation principle model, ensuring a more equitable distribution of VAT revenue to all states, regardless of the economic status. So let's start the conversation this morning. Let me join Professor Remi Ayede of the University of Ibadan, Department of Political Science, and Barrister to quickly look at some of the issues raised by this tax reform bill. Some interpret it as a model for restructuring that people have been clamoring for, adopting a derivation model for the distribution of VAT revenue across the country to afford a more equitable distribution so that states can actually get what is commensurate with what they are contributing. Some say, well, it's unfair based on the principles of this bill. So let me start off with Prof. Prof, good morning, sir. Great to have you.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning, listeners. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I think that the challenge is really that the president did not carry the governors along. Although it is correct that it is the northern governors that were the first to raise issues, but subsequently, at the meeting of the National Economic Council, the governors and all other members agreed that the president should withdraw the bill, given the legitimate issues that have been raised, and that after due consultation, then the bill can then be represented to the National Assembly. But it appears the president is adamant and decided that the National Assembly will have to deal with it as it is. For me, I don't think it's a wise decision. I think that there are gray areas that need to be clarified. One of the ways of getting some of these issues addressed is to take a consultative, persuasive negotiation approach to the issue. I think the president is enamored of the fact that he has a rubber stamp National Assembly, but he will soon find out that at critical junctures like this, that level of loyalty may not exist in the National Assembly. I think that there are legitimate issues concerning the tax bill in terms of which tax belongs to which level of government, and which level of government should administer which tax. And when it has been administered, how much is to be paid to the level of government administering it, and lastly, the formula to be used in distribution. And I think that's actually one of the highlights that has been brought out in terms of how do you determine the percentage that belongs to which state in terms of derivation. So I don't think it would be good to just emphasize the fact that some people don't want derivation, and it will also be wrong to also think that it is only not some northern states that are opposed to derivation. I think those who are opposed to derivation are cut across the regions. I remember the 13% derivation formula, which was opposed by some state governors that took Obasanjo to the Supreme Court. Osun State, for instance, and Ekiti State were part of the states that argued against that policy. So it's important for us to recognize that fact, so that we don't play into the hands of politicians. So there are very germane issues that need to be addressed, and I think consultation and discussion, debates around it is very vital to the success of any proposal that will be passed in the National Assembly.
Right. Let me welcome Barrister as well. Barrister, good morning.
Oh, good morning, and Prof, my noble Prof, I wanted to monitor you and convocation is about rounding up for the year. Let me also say a wonderful morning to Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, there are those who have interpreted this tax reform bill in the context of, the changes that need to happen, the overhaul of the revenue distribution formula, if we're actually headed towards the much advocated restructuring in this country. How does this reform bill resonate with you within that context?
Yes. Thank you very much, Toba. I agree.
But Barrister, it looks like your connection is unstable. Barrister, it sounds like your connection is a bit unstable.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I said I want to adopt the submissions of Prof as mine, and only to add that there are some very good points on the issues that have been raised, particularly relative to derivation. I think that it is a way of challenging the states to improve better on their economy. If it is what you sow that you reap, then the issue of derivation is a very welcome development in the sharing formula for these so-called taxes. It is not fair to allow a state to be producing, and then when it is time to get their tax returns, it is based on where their head office is headquartered. That gave a very, very undue advantage to Lagos and Rivers, for example. So there are so many good things about the tax reforms, and like Prof said, it just requires us to sit down, jaw on the issue, and come to a reasonable conclusion of the matter. Nigeria is supposed to be a federal system of government, and every state ought to be in competition with the other in terms of the dividends of democracy that they are able to give to their people. And all of these will be aided by improving on their economies. If you do more, you get more. If you do less, you get less. So it should be an incentive for all governors that it is no longer business as usual. What you are getting will be proportional to what you are giving. And that's the way I think it should be, really. That's the way I think it should be. So I am on all fours with my noble Prof on the way to go about it. Definitely, this tax reform is intended to stimulate the states to improve more on their economy. I mean, given the arguments on derivation. And if we go that route, it will go a long way in helping to redress the so many imbalances that you have in the system. The states cannot just be depending on allocation from the federal government and think they're doing well. No, they're not doing well at all. It is how much they're able to put into the system too. If you put garbage in there, then you should get garbage. But if you put something good in there, then something good ought to come to you. So that's the way I see it.
Right. Let me go back to Prof now. I'm seeing this report here from the deputy spokesperson of the House of Representatives. Is alleging that some state governors that are opposed to this bill are already threatening federal lawmakers that they will be denied a return ticket. And we know the dynamics of politics at the state level. Even National Assembly members must be on the same page with the state governors for them to win their ticket, especially during the primaries. We saw what happened to some of them in 2023 when they fell out with their state governors. Some of them did not return. The state governors favored another candidate over them in the primary. So this is like a bargaining chip for the state governors, telling them, look, this is what is on the table. If this bill comes to you, you must vote this certain way, or otherwise you sacrifice yourself politically in the National Assembly. It's getting interesting, Prof.
Yeah, it is to be expected. The same move also enshroud the Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy. And you saw the sham of elections that have been conducted by the governors across the states. So I think that is a lesson to be learned going forward with these bills. And I don't know why the president thinks that he will get away with it. You remember, we have always emphasized the fact that intergovernmental consultation, intergovernmental cooperation, intergovernmental collaboration are key to the functioning of a federal system. And I think on this platform, I made the point that let us not assume that the federal government is in control of one part of the country and the state governments are in control of another part of the country. All parts of the country are under both state and federal government. One would have thought that if the purpose is to develop Nigeria, then it shouldn't be too difficult for all of them to see eye to eye in addressing their differences. And I think that's the point to be emphasized. Intergovernmental antagonism without a justification of it on the basis of the welfare of citizens, it doesn't bode well for Nigeria. And that's why I think that it is important that the governors also fight for what they think is right. And they will have to come to some consensus at some point. But that the president should think that the National Assembly will still be a rubber stamp in this matter should not be addressed, because we don't want a situation where the federal government is to lord it over state governors because of the advantage of it being a single government and others are multiple governments, so it can adopt some kind of the divide and rule strategy,
right?
Or to think that because he has the National Assembly in his pocket, he could just get away with all of this. So I think the state governors are doing the right thing. They need to call back their representative, and Nigerians should also do so if we study the problem very well, and there's a chance that our interest is not likely to be represented in the National Assembly.
Right.
So we should actually stand behind our governors on this matter and ensure that the justice and equity, both in the collection of taxes and also in the distribution of fees.
Right. We need to go on this break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation. Hopefully, our guests will be able to join us in the conversation there. Remember, it's a Podium on 32FM 94.9. We're live on Facebook, 32FM 949 Fenya. We'll be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Happiness is a choice that we want you to make always. Choose to be happy. Choose 32FM 94.9 Ibadan.
Oga teacher, abeg, wetin dey happen when my pikin dem come school? Why e be say dem go comot house very clean, when dem come back the difference no be here o.
Na because action no dey finish ma. All the book dem dey learn plus sports wey dem dey do dey burn energy, so that sweat stain dey uniform with tear and dirty shoes show say your pikin dey very active.
Na wow!
Your pikin dem need nourishing energy make you give dem the new improved Milo for breakfast. E get correct nutrients wey dey support energy release to help dem use their day well. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop? And is it to stir?
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Ho, ho, ho! Yes! It's the Laughter Santa season! And that means
fun, games, we love Laughter Santa!
Children, parents, let's get on the ride with 32FM's Laughter Santa in partnership with Ride Ross Amusement Parks. Venue, Games Area, Palms Mall Ring Road, Ibadan. Time, Mondays through Saturdays, 10 a.m. Sundays, 12 noon. Date, December 1st to 24th, 2024. Price, 4,000 naira per child. And with this, your child enjoys free rides, gifts, and lots more. For sponsorship and inquiries, and if your school, community, and church would like to be part of this, call Auntie Sumbo on 0704 017 4981 or Bolanle on 0810 067 2518. As you already know, with 32FM's Laughter Santa, there's always more. Tune into the Laughter Santa show on air every weekday, 4:15 to 5 p.m. and on weekends, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Laughter Santa 2024. It promises to be fun.
Jọ̀ọ́ mo nílò epo ẹ̀rọ ọ̀kadà mi ti tún fẹ́ iṣẹ́ àtúnṣe lẹ́yìn ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì.
Èèyàn mi níṣe ni o nílò True 4 Oil. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o lè fàkókò ṣòfò lórí kẹ̀kẹ́ tàbí ọ̀kadà rẹ pàápàá fún ọjọ́ kan. Nítorí náà ni mo ṣe dúró lórí True 4 Oil tuntun. True 4 Oil ò gbówó ńlá lórí. Ó ń dáàbò bo ẹ̀rọ, ó sì ń rọ ẹ̀rọ ní agbára láti ṣiṣẹ́ fún ọ̀sẹ̀ 6 ṣáájú ìyípadà ipò ìmíràn. Dán True 4 Oil wò lónìí. True 4 Oil ń bẹ ní gbogbo ibùdó iléepo ti Bovas ní jákèjádò orílẹ̀-èdè. True 4 Oil ó ń bẹ fún ọ ní gbogbo ìgbà. True 4 Oil láti ilé-iṣẹ́ TVS.
Dear landed property owner, what if I told you that you could reach out to a radio station to sell your choice of landed properties without paying for adverts? You must think it's impossible, right? And not just any radio station, a radio station with millions of listeners, so your property can be sold as quickly as possible. Stop doubting, Thomas. What's your name again? 32 FM, the laughter station, in partnership with Soft Sands Property, is bringing this offer to you. Yes, if you have a house or land in a choice location with appropriate titles and you want it advertised in 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan, for quick sales and without paying a cobble, you can call or send a message to this number 091-646-15000 and 091-555-0055. Also, you can visit www.softsandsproperty.com to express your interest. Terms and conditions apply. Soft Sands, created to house the world.
Ẹ̀yin fans mi.
It's okay.
Ẹ lọ sórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ní 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ àsápù.
It's okay.
Let's celebrate together with the great icon, Alhaji Wasiu Alabi Pasuma Wonder.
Ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ PFC olólùfẹ́ Pasuma Wonder. Owó nẹ́bà tó everyone nínú ọ̀gá ńlá family.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọba bá wa sí sọ̀díwùkẹ́ jíjọ́ pẹ́ ní the Great Palace Hotel pẹ̀lú tùǹgbà àlùjọ ọdún tó sì ń gbá kan jù kan.
Àsùnà fẹ́ gbọ́ everybody ṣe dúró dédé o. Orí Alábí náà fẹ́ gbọ́ everybody ṣe dúró dédé.
Ó yẹ bá wa jíjọ́ pẹ́ ayẹyẹ ọdún kan the Great Palace Hotel àtayọ ọjọ́ ìbí Alhaji Wasiu Alabi Pasuma Wonder. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí bá wá sí àtẹ̀yìn aláfẹ́ tó gbọ́n pẹ̀ ẹ̀ wá pàdé Alhaji Wasiu Alabi Pasuma Wonder lọ́jọ́ kìíní oṣù kejìlá ọdún first Sunday of December ní the Great Palace Hotel ní déédéé agogo 4 ìrọ̀lẹ́ di agogo 11 alẹ́ kẹlẹ́lẹ́. Join Alhaji Wasiu Alabi Pasuma for real tùǹgbà at the Great Palace Hotel opposite Prayer House Joyce B Road Òkè Àdó Ìbàdàn. Table for 6 is 1 million naira. For more inquiries call on 091-3500-4343 or 081-8989-8980. Oh my Lord, Gani.
I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop and easy to stir.
Sonia tomato mix in a new standard pouch.
Every day when my pikin dem come back from school, I know they sabi them again. Hello, who na be?
Mommy,
What's all this dirty uniform? With sweat cover, with dirty socks, wey been clean for morning. You don't change, oh. Anyway, I understand because I know say school na serious work. For them to come home like this means say no be small energy don't come out from them body. So therefore, I make sure I dey give them nutritious Milo for breakfast every day.
Your pikin dem need nourishing energy. Make you give them the new improved Milo for breakfast. E get correct nutrients wey dey support energy release to help them use their day well. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo.
Dear landed property owner, what if we told you that you could reach out to a radio station to sell your choice of landed properties without paying for adverts? You must think it's impossible, right? And not just any radio station, a radio station with millions of listeners, so your property can be sold as quickly as possible. Stop doubting, Thomas. Or what's your name again? 32 FM, the laughter station, in partnership with Soft Sands Property, is bringing this offer to you. Yes, if you have a house or land in a choice location with appropriate titles and you want it advertised on 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan for quick sales and without paying a cobble, you can call or send a message to this number 0911-5550-055 0916-461-5000. Also, you can visit www.softsandproperty.com to express your interest. Terms and conditions apply.
Soft Sands, created to house the world.
Find amazing treats for everyone this holiday with Showmax. Celebrate like a champion with soccer.
Very well taken.
Find your festive inspo with our masters of style.
That's what I'm here for.
Embark on a fun-filled global adventure.
Here we go.
Share jollof moments with family and friends.
My son, the most handsome.
And enjoy some truly royal spoils.
I want the power to control what happens in my life.
Only on Showmax, because everyone deserves a holiday treat.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. The Podium on 32 FM 94.9. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. In case you're just joining us, we're live on Facebook, 32 FM 949 Fenye. Okay, we'll switch gears now as we welcome our guest for the day into the studio. Our guest this morning is aspiring to represent the people of Ibadan North Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives by-elections taking place very soon. It's Pastor Dexter Femi Akinlamu. Thank you very much for joining us on the Podium today. Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning, Tola. Good to be with you, and good morning to the good people. Your state and everybody watching us, listening to us around the world as well.
There are people also watching us on our Facebook page. So
awesome.
You weren't far from, the truth when you said people watching us. So, okay. Yeah, it's a panel discussion. We have two panelists joining us. They will also be contributing and asking you questions as the conversation progresses. We have Professor Remi Ayede, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan. Prof, please welcome our guest.
Good morning, and welcome. You're welcome to this platform, and we look forward to very fruitful interaction this morning.
Good morning, Prof.
There's also Barrister Yomi Ogunlola as well. Barrister?
Yes, I want to very humbly welcome our guest, and I also hope that we will have a robust interaction this morning.
Look forward to it, Barrister. Thank you so much.
All right. I think before we came back on air, I was telling you about your media engagement in the build-up to the 2023 election, and I recall the kind of optimism you had at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you lost the election to the incumbent, the late Akinremi Jagaban of the APC. What is driving your optimism right now that you're back in the race? What do you think you have that is different from what was just about a year ago when you lost the election?
I've always been passionate about adding value within the political system. I've always believed that I have something to offer within my constituency and generally to a nation. So, I mean, that has never changed. Even though the election went as it did, there's always an opportunity, another opportunity, of course, which has presented itself due to the demise of the incumbent. God bless his soul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking the question because the numbers were not so good. The numbers that you pulled in the last election, the official figure, the winner got around 21,035 votes. You had just about 7,779 votes under the, Labour Party platform at the time. You're still a member of Labour Party, though. So it means that the incumbent beat you by 3 times of your vote. So, I mean, do you think you've been able to increase your level of popularity in the state, that you are going back into the race now?
Right. Most certainly, I think it's the Yoruba people that say that when a young person falls down, it looks forward. When an older person falls down, it looks back. And I've been able to do both. Look back at what happened in that election.
What do you think happened in that election?
A lot of things happened, but I really wouldn't want to dwell on the past. I want to move forward now. We have looked at the lessons as a party, as an individual, that we should look at and learn from that election. We have learned the lessons. I don't want to keep going on about these happened, this was not in place, that was not in place. That has
So you feel like you're in a much better place now to go up against...
Absolutely.
The big wigs.
Absolutely. I mean, big wigs is a matter of perception, I think that we should start to look at our candidates for who they are, not for just the party that they are in. And I believe that this by-election is going to be such that the people are starting to look beyond party and start to look at the individuals who have been put down within those parties and what they have to offer, what they are promising to do and who they are. How can we believe that they're going to do the things that they are saying? And it has to be based on where they're coming from, and I think that that's what the people are looking at. And so Dexter Femi Akinlamu stands in a very, very good position based on that.
Okay, so why do you think people should vote for you?
People should vote for me because if you look at my person and I came back to Nigeria after studying in the UK and living in the UK for 10 years in 2010. And since 2010, you can study the person of Dexter Femi Akinlamu, how I have continually, and this is before politics ever came into it. I got into politics only in 2022. That
just a year before 2023.
Just a year before 2023. And if you had asked me January 2022 whether I was ever going to be in politics, I would have said no, because I felt like I could always contribute what I have, like I've always done for 12 years before then. But I feel like the way Nigeria is going, we cannot continue to run away from governance with the pretense that it's bad people that run it. Someone actually said to me on one of the radio stations, Pastor, if you want to end well, stay out of politics. Those kind of things, because we have come to the point where we feel like, okay, let's just leave it to them. And if we continue to do that, Nigeria will continue to go into trajectory that is going.
Prof, please mute your device, sir. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Nigeria will continually go in the direction that it's going. So it's on us, those of us that believe that we have something to contribute. And I've never been silent about what I feel I bring to the table, and I hope that we even have the opportunity to discuss that later on in the show.
Yeah, I mean, you said that people should look beyond the political party, but at present, people only thumbprint for the logo of the political party, and there's a conversation around the established parties, the PDP and the APCs. They've been there, they've done it, and you are going up against them in this race again. There's the issue of whether or not you have the structure, the extent of your party popularity in your state. I'd like you to address those concerns.
Right, okay, so you have to understand that Ibadan North Federal Constituency is not like any other place. Ibadan North Federal Constituency is the center of the educated in our state. I mean, the University of Ibadan is within that federal constituency. The Polytechnic Ibadan is within that federal constituency. The University College Hospital is within that federal constituency. Bodija, the first...
But it's a mix.
It's a mix, but it's certainly a 70-30 mix, right? So 70% of that constituency are educated people. A huge number of that constituency. Now, you will remember that the constituency does start from the Berry roundabout, if you look at it, and that's actually from Ward 1.
That's why I said it's a mix, because I know the Berry area.
If you come all the way to Total Garden, so you've covered all of Yemetu, all of those NTA gate side. I mean, but once you get to Total Garden, then the trajectory sort of changes. You go to Total Garden, you go towards UCH, and then if you go towards UI, all of Bodija, all of Ikolaba, it's still within that constituency. So there's a large number of people who are supposed to be educated and who are supposed to know what they want, right? Enough to be able to sit down and engage the politicians. Here's what I found in the last election. Every single debate, none of them showed up, right? And I'm looking forward to engaging.
Some of them argue that it's not about debate, it's about understanding the grassroots, understanding how politics works. That's how they say it's about having the structure on ground to win elections.
Because Nigerians have not learned for a very long time. When someone does not engage you, how do you then expect him to deliver? When someone feels like your voice doesn't matter, they don't want to listen to you, we're just in charge, with a pseudo power that because I'm in a particular political party, it's almost like calling the people a fool. It's almost like talking to you. We know they will vote for us. We don't need to engage you.
No, or maybe we have another strategy to engage them aside debate.
But should it be strategy that does not engage the people? Should politics not be about the people and what they want? And how do you know what the people want when you don't engage them? This is more about demeaning the people. This is more about telling the people you don't matter. Your voice does not matter. We're going to do whatever we want to do.
So how come they got 21,000 votes?
Because you now want to take me back to that election.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering. You don't want to go back. I get.
I think you know why.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I think you're a journalist enough to know how some of these things happen, right?
Okay.
But I want to resist the temptation of having to go back and start to analyze that election.
Because are you inferring something happened, that shouldn't have happened?
You're trying to play. You're going to play, baby. Let's move beyond that.
Yeah.
Let's look at the future. Now, I'm saying that the people are learning. I'm saying that the people are getting to understand, and I'm looking forward, and that's why I'm here. I'm looking forward to provoking conversations. I'm looking forward to say, engage us. I'm looking forward to say, look beyond the party divides and look at the people, and let's engage ourselves. Now, what do we bring to the table? If we vote for you as a legislator primarily,
yes.
What do you have?
Yeah, that's
to
what
do?
I'm saying. Like, you are contesting on the platform of Labour Party.
Yes, I
When
am.
people go into the polling booth on that election day, they are not going to see Pastor Dexter Alamo. They are not going to see your face. They are only going to see the Labour Party symbol, the father, mother, and the child.
Absolutely.
So, what edge do you have over the broom symbol, the umbrella symbol, or every other symbol of every political party running in this election?
Whereas I am contesting under the Labour Party,
yes,
Dexter Femi Akinalamo is the individual that will represent my constituents in Abuja.
Right.
It is technically not Labour Party. It is me as a person.
Party,
right.
You can't. There's no independent candidacy.
I'm not putting down the party, and I am not playing down on the importance of the party. But I am saying that we should be wise enough not just to sheepishly go to the polls and tomb a party because of the party. I am saying that we need to look beyond the party at who is carrying the label of the party, because at the end of the day, it is that person that will go ahead and represent the constituency.
Okay, let me go to Prof now. Prof, you have the floor, sir. Hello, Prof.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you very much. It is true that you are going to represent the Ibadan North constituency, and it's also true that a large part of your population, of your electorate, from the elite class.
Yes.
What you have not addressed is the fact that this elite class hardly votes.
Very true.
So, what are you doing to mobilize their vote? Because you might just be surprised that they might share your vision and think that you are the right candidate. But if they don't vote, you go nowhere. The parts of your constituency that you have identified as 30% actually may be more than 30%, because that's where the population is. The other settlements are largely dispersed. And apart from the clusters, of the Polytechnic, the University of Ibadan, and then usage, but most of the time it depends on the timing of the election. If they are on holidays and they are not resident of campus, and if their registration is not located within their institution, you might not have what you want. So what have you done in terms of homework in response to these issues that I've raised?
Thank you very much, Prof. And if I sounded like I'm only hoping to win because of the educated part of the constituency, I apologize. I was just emphasizing something. That is not to say that we are not engaging what I would call my ward 1 to 4 and also my ward 6, which is Sabo.
Because those people vote, they come out and vote.
Where most of the votes come from, and it's actually a lot of that. And I have to say that without talking too much about the things that we are doing, that we are very much on the ground in the grassroots. In 2022, and this is something that we have always done, some things that, I had to learn politics of shouting about the things that you do, because they taught me in politics, you don't do something and keep quiet. Now, because I have been a pastor for a long time and I've always done things, I will do things and keep quiet about it, because I'm not doing it for the noise. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do.
And it says, don't let your right hand know what your left hand does.
That kind of thing. Yeah. But getting into politics, I'm learning to let people know the things that we're doing in the grassroots. And even in 2022, which is something that we've always done, but we took it to Ibadan North Federal Constituency, and we did host, I'm sure we hosted close to about 5,000 people, during Christmas, which people did receive Christmas packs. We brought Santa Claus for the children, and I'm sure up to about 2,000-3,000 children saw Santa Claus for free. We are daily going into those communities and showing them, that our future is literally in our hands. The future of our children is literally in our hands. Within our Ward 1, inside Bere, in what's that courthouse in Ward 1, went there and we had gone to do training for people. We took about 10 different courses there, for which we train people in hairdressing, for which we train people in shoemaking, and up to about 10 different crafts.
So that's your model of engagement with those people?
To them, yes.
Okay.
To begin to show that, real empowerment is the fact that you have something that you can do with your hands, and then you can be able to make money from it and live. So we are continuously engaging the grassroots. So I'm not sounding like, we're just going to wait, for the elites alone. We are doing a whole lot. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I said, that we had the opportunity to sit down and learn from what happened the last time and see in what places do we need to improve, and we're steadily engaging.
All right, let me go to Barrister now. Barrister.
Yes, thank you very much. My honorable, let me start being futuristic or Nostradamus.
Thank you, sir.
All right. It appears from your submissions that this second time around, you want to play politics as it is played in Nigeria. In other words, that you appear to have been incorporated into the kind of politics that is played here, that emphasizes more of stomach infrastructure than this so-called ideologies and propagating ideologies and all of that. So would I be correct to say from your submissions you have also been incorporated into the kind of politics that is played in Nigeria?
I would exactly put it that way, Barrister. I will say that in order to be able to make a difference, we have to engage. And I believe that empowerment is not just giving people what to eat. Empowerment is setting people up to be able to live without you, right? So that is really releasing power to the people. That's my definition of empowerment. And whereas we will support people, because the truth is, things are really bad for a lot of people. You cannot talk to people about other things when they are hungry, right? And so we have to come to that point where whatever we can do to support them. But I just talked about our empowerment programs in terms of training right now. My belief is that we have to engage people in such a way that as many people as we can take off the street to be able to function independently without needing to look for a politician every Friday before they can leave next week. What kind of training how can we set them up? Those are really my priorities. Are we doing all the things like, supporting people, because of hunger? Yes, we are, and we have always done that even outside of politics. But I believe that the big deal really is empowering people for real, not what we call empowerment in Nigeria, but really setting up people to be able to live independently of anybody.
And you're aspiring to go into the National Assembly when there is this kind of apprehension against lawmakers on the part of the people.
Yeah.
There's a perception that there's a bogus pay that lawmakers enjoy. In fact, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission says that each lawmaker collects a monthly salary and allowances around the sum of 1,063,860 naira.
Yeah.
There's also motor vehicle allowance, maintenance allowance, personal assistant allowance, domestic staff, entertainment, utility, not to talk of the SUVs, consider allowance of millions of naira, house maintenance as well. This run into millions of naira for each lawmaker every month. You've said that, you've engaged with the people.
Right.
Looking at your engagement with the people, from what you've seen, how impoverished people are, is it a fair amount for you to be collecting as a servant of the people who get elected to go sit in the House of Representatives?
Absolutely. I agree with the average Nigerian that thinks that, there's a lot of money that's been spent on our legislative. I agree 100%. I cannot make any difference from the outside, right? Even though I believe that leadership is about service. That's
well, this service is coming with a lot of strings attached.
Anybody that
it's
knows
not free.
Me, anybody that knows me,
right.
I have a congregation that I pastor. I've been a pastor now for 27 years. In 27 years of pastoring, I have never received a salary as a pastor. And I'm telling you that. I pastor a church today. I'm not even a signatory to the account. Right? So people know where I stand. I'm talking about the people that know me and have worked with me all of my life. They know where I stand. So it's the same perception that I have about politics. I believe that things will actually begin to change when we begin to set up the people who say they want to represent us to realize it's not about the money.
But this money is there. But this money is there.
The money is there.
If you get elected, you get your own SUV, you get your own house maintenance, you get your own domestic staff. Are you going to reject it? You cannot.
I cannot reject it,
right.
But I can divert the money to serve my people. I cannot say no, I'm not going to take, because I did not make that law. And Dexter Femi Akalamu cannot stand and say, oh no, we have to change the law. I can contribute my voice, but there needs to be a majority who share that opinion. And that's why politics is also about influence. When I get there, I can begin to influence it until we get there.
How do you want to influence when you belong to the minority party there?
But the minority does become majority when they don't give up. If the minority folds their hands and they say, oh, because we're minority, let's just stay on and let them do it, there is no way the minority will become the majority. But influence is a part of life. I can have a conversation with you and you can say, to a couple of things that I say. That means I've influenced you. If you keep hearing something over and over again, the day will come where you will see reason into the things that we're saying. And that's why I have chosen not to stay on the outside. I've chosen to get on the inside, and as much as God gives me grace to be able to influence things from the inside.
So when you say you divert the perks of office to the service of the people, how do you mean? So you not use the SUV, you not use the house allowance and all of those things?
What I'm saying is that there is money that is coming to the person who sits in that position.
Yes.
If that person sitting in that position realizes that this is really not my money, this is the people's money, right? And even if they are giving it to me, they're giving to me in trust. I can choose, like I've always done. I have said so many times in all of my life, I have never been in a political position before. I have never been appointed to a political position before, and I'm saying it on radio. In all of my life, I have never executed any any government contract before. Right? So I don't have any government money inside my pocket. Everything that I have spent over the last 14 years, I have spent from my sweat. And even many politicians have not done the things that we have done in the communities with our own money. So I am saying that even if government, I have always used my money to support people. So even if government money comes into my pocket, I'll do exactly the same thing. So that means more money to be able to support my people.
Right. And you said that, it's all about speaking up because the minority become the majority. But, we saw the lawmakers that got elected in the House of Representatives in the last election. Some members of your party, some members of NMPP. In fact, if you look at the structure of the House of Rep, if you put together all the smaller parties, the number is more than the APC that produced the speaker right now. So, a lot of people said they had the expectation that these lawmakers were going to speak, against the youth in the National Assembly, some of them being first timers. But some Nigerians said when they got inside, the reality dawned on them that you have to survive politically as a National Assembly member, because we've seen senior lawmakers, even from the APC, like Ali Ndume, for instance, who stood up to speak. We saw he was suspended. This man from Bauchi, forgotten his name now, Senator Ningi, who stood up as well, he was suspended. So as a rookie going there as a first timer, you think about your survival first, because when you get in there, you want to come back to continue what you're doing. So political survival and speaking up, that's the reality you face.
I think politics is something that you need to know how to play it, right? At the end of the day, my belief is it is my people that sent me there and not them, right? So at the end of the day, in all things, the interests of the people come first, right? There are sometimes you have to negotiate in politics, right? I have things that I believe should be the priority of the legislative arm that I would come with as I enter into them, but I cannot make it happen. So there has to be some sort of negotiations in some things, but principles must never be violated, right? Where I stand will always be clear. what I believe will always be first. The interest of the people will always be first. That is a non-negotiable. Now, when it comes to, okay, can you support this so that we can support this? We can talk as long as it doesn't violate my principle, right? So there's a bit of
because these things happen everywhere. You know, in advanced democracies, they negotiate, they put things on the table that if you support this bill, this will happen. If you don't support this bill, this will happen.
Those kind of things.
So when you say the interest of the people, what if it's your political survivor that's on the line? You know, you also think about that as well.
I will sacrifice my political survivor. What I will not sacrifice is my people.
Let me go back to Prof now. Prof? Hello, Prof.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Yes.
I think it's easier said than done.
Right.
If we look at the developments in the National Assembly as a result of these lages that were given to them, it's hard to find those who turn it down, and they have not done so also according to party lines, which then means there's what I would describe as a herd approach in the National Assembly. And I don't know, well, you are a pastor and you have had long experience working with the public, but it's not as easy as that. But let me ask you this question concerning your programs. What exactly are you offering that's different from what the APC and the PDP, the more traditional, the strong parties in the state, are offering? Because right now there's no room for independent candidates, as already mentioned before, and people will be voting for those parties. And if you really do have them, put them on the table. And it will also be important for us to see what is your different mobilizational approach that you think would make you your presence as felt as those two traditional parties who already hold the ground. And I'm saying this because money is also at stake, and you know, vote buying is a very potent weapon that may make a difference. So how do you hope to address all of these challenges?
Thank you, Prof. I'm not suggesting that it's going to be easy, but I'm suggesting that we will stand for principles, you know, and not just playing the game to please the powers that be. In terms of the realities of what we bring to the table, what I think it's primary. I mean, I can talk about a lot of things, but primarily, if I can focus on these, I believe it will go a long way in helping our people. And that's the fact that I really think that nothing is being done in terms of legislation to protect a Nigerian, right? So there is no kind of welfare bill on the table. There is no kind of support bill on the table. In everything that we're doing as a nation, we don't think about the Nigerian, right? So I have talked about the fact that I lived in the UK for 10 years. And within those 10 years, I was qualified to have a British passport, which I did not get, right? Intentionally, right? And a lot of people have asked me question. I mean, why would you not rather get a British passport? What is there in the green passport that you are protecting? And I've always said that this is the reason I'm in politics. And I sat down a few months ago to look at the bills that created the welfare system that I saw within the UK, right? And so I had to ask myself, what do I get as a Nigerian? Now, eating is above just 3 triangular meals. Is above an average Nigerian, right? Who is thinking about how people are going to feed in this economy? Who is thinking about the health of our people within this economy? Because this economy is killing Nigerians. We could talk about things that are tough, but I mean, what is it? Who is protecting the Nigerians? So if I'm in the UK, if I have a job, I pay tax. if I don't have a job, I get unemployment benefits. I get job seekers allowance. That's because the government is thinking about its citizens, is thinking first about the survival of its citizens. There is no such thing in Nigeria. Everybody is on their own. If you die, you die, right? And I used an example, Tola, the last time that, I know someone who has diabetes and they have to use insulin every day. That insulin just about 2 years ago was 2,000 naira for a pen of insulin. Today, that same insulin is about 23,000 naira. Essentially, you have killed that guy, right? Because how would he afford to be able to put 100,000 a month down on just insulin medication? You may as well take a gun and shoot him, right? And that's happening across the nation. What was the price of inhaler before? What is the price of inhaler now? Which means that people will first of all try to survive and think about, what if I have an attack along the line? Is essentially killing Nigerians. Who is thinking? And I believe that the first thing that I bring to the table as a legislator are the bills that protect Nigeria, that keeps Nigeria alive, irrespective of the economy. That if we're saying, there's a lot that's going on with this government with regard to taxation now. You want to tax us, but if I am in trouble, what takes care of me? Who really cares about me? And I believe that there has to be a proper welfare bill that needs to sit down to protect life. So I am proud to be a Nigerian. The reason that people want to get a lot of these passports is because when you become a citizen, your life matters. The life of a Nigerian doesn't matter to anybody. Right? And so we need to sit down and really look at it, because governance is firstly about the people. I cannot say that enough. It is firstly about the people. It is not about all of these politics. It is people first before all of these policies. So what protects a Nigerian? Why should I be proud to be a Nigerian? And I think that's something that we need to look at. And that's essentially what I bring to the table.
So your priority is the welfare bill?
Absolutely.
All right. Barrister?
Yes, Toba, thank you very much. Now, Honorable.
Yes, sir.
Listening to you, I know that you speak from the abundance of your heart, and it really pleases me listening to you.
Right.
Now, I want you to look at another issue.
Yes, sir.
Depending on your proximity to the center, we see that when you are going into an election, you have not only the political parties to contend with, you also have the umpire to contend with.
Right.
That is INEC.
Right.
We have seen situations in this country when INEC has joined another party to be a claimant in an election petition tribunal, matter.
Right.
To be a claimant, not a defendant. Now, I want to ask you, yes, and most Nigerians appear to have lost confidence in INEC as an unbiased umpire. Right. I want your view. First, what was INEC's performance like in the last election that you held?
Right.
And do you believe in INEC's ability to conduct an election that will express the will of the people?
Thank you very much, Barrister. Tola had asked me a couple of questions about Toba, right?
Toba,
okay, Toba had asked me a couple of questions about the last election. I've been tactically dodging the question because I'm trying to protect my heart. I don't want to become bitter. I don't want to be angry.
You don't want to sound like a sore loser.
Absolutely. So I'm leaving the past behind. Now, it's obvious, that a lot of Nigerians have issues of confidence in INEC. What I would always say to people concerning that is that's exactly where they want us to get to. They want us to get to that point where we take a sit-down look position and say, if we can't beat them, let's just give up even if we can join them, right? And what I will say to people is that if we're going to birth change in this nation, we must not give up. We must not stop fighting. And essentially, the only way we can fight this is by involvement, right? If we step back and say, there's no way we can win, look at this, look at that, then they have won, right? So we have to take that position and say, we will not give up. Here's what I think. Election can only be rigged, right, when there is not enough support for the candidate that truly won, right? That means if an election is held and there is a high majority of support for a particular candidate, such as there are enough people who voted and won within the polling units, and they sit down for those things to be counted within those polling units, and everybody takes pictures like they're supposed to can. They're supposed to paint the pictures. If enough people take pictures, that means if enough people see that, because this thing is not just let's go out and vote. It's now beyond that. We don't just go out and vote. We go out, we vote, we wait, right, for them to count it in my polling unit. They count it in our presence. We don't just leave it to the party agents. We are all agents. We sit down and we monitor our votes. It will be very difficult. Even if they come up and say there's a technical glitch with the beavers, right? If enough of us, I'm talking about enough of us, are sat down in those polling units, have taken the pictures, we've done videos where they are counting, we have taken pictures of the pasted result, it will be difficult to rig. Right,
Honorable.
Yes,
Honorable.
Yes,
please permit me to come in there.
Yes, sir.
Can I take this as an admission from you that the last election was rightly won by the candidate that was declared?
That it was rightly won by the candidate that was declared. Yes. Barrister, I did make a press statement immediately after that election. In that election, I admitted that I lost the election. I never went to court prior to this. So that's my position concerning that election. Right. Now, that's not to say that everything went the way it was supposed to go, right? I'm not saying that. But also, I want to decline to comment on some of the things that I believe was wrong with that election and move on.
All right. So moving on now, you said that polling units, people taking pictures. There's a reason people also talk about structure of political parties, because I've covered election for many years. As a matter of fact, since 2015, I've been covering elections. And what you see is that every polling unit you go to, if you don't see any other political party, you will see PDP and APC agent every polling unit you go to.
Right.
I've covered election different places, from Egbeda, Onara, different places in Oyo State, even beyond Oyo State.
Right.
So it raises the question about the structure of this quote-unquote so-called smaller political parties, or the relatively new political parties, in terms of having the people, their agents at the polling unit, and even the collation centers to be able to monitor how things unfold there. So when I asked you about structure earlier, I'm also making reference to something like this. So do you have men on ground to monitor your vote, polling unit to polling units, and you have your party agents who are well briefed as to their role, at the collation centers, where they're supposed to observe, the things they're supposed to monitor before the final result is announced?
All right. So talking about the last election, let me just make this statement to say that
not just the last election, I'm talking generally now, because going into this one, you must have party agents on ground.
I'm just talking about my own position. That was the election I contested. There were issues, not just INEC issues. It was not just to be fair to say that it was just all the issues were INEC issues. There were internal party issues as well. Right. But in fairness to the Labour Party, we only had less than 2 years to prepare for that election. Right. If you look at the movement of the principal in the national, His Excellency Peter Obi, to the Labour Party, and all the events that went on after that, we had less than 2 years to prepare for an election. It wasn't going to be perfect, right? So there were gaps here and there as well. That's why I said earlier on that we have had the opportunity to also sit down and look at that election and analyze that election and look at what went wrong, what could have been better. And we have seen even gaps within the party, right? It is people that make up structure, right?
So do you have the people
we
that make up?
Even in 2023, we had the
You had
people.
party agents everywhere. Because I only saw, because I was on ground in 2023.
Not what I'm saying.
I know the places where I saw your party agents. I know the places where I didn't see them.
Not what I'm saying, Toba.
Yes,
I'm saying that we had the people.
Right.
Whether or not we were able to convert those people to formidable structures within the grassroots that was able to hold the grassroots is another question entirely. But I'm saying it wasn't a people thing. It was enough time to be able to galvanize, to be able to train, and to be able to ensure that there was enough planning in the grassroots to ensure that the people became the structure.
Right.
That's where there were issues.
And you mentioned internal issue earlier, in 2023. It looks like the issues are not going away in your party, especially at the national level. Allegations of campaign fund embezzlement here and there.
Right.
Julius Abure, Aisha Yusufu. We also saw allegations of forgery of letters, against him as well. So, I mean, people have said, look, it looks like this Labour Party is not entirely different from the APC and PDP that we've hated for some time now, that we felt like was the backbone, the reason why Nigeria is where it is today. That even this Labour Party that is campaigning to be a third force is exhibiting the traits that we saw in the PDP and the APC. That's how some people feel about your party.
There are two things for me.
Yes.
Labour Party was not. The huge impact of Labour Party in 2023 was not about Julius Abure. It wasn't about the people who were in the Labour Party pre His Excellency Peter Obi going to that party. It was more about Peter Obi. However, there are issues in the national. I have an election hopefully in January. I cannot focus on those national issues right now. I'm focusing on Ibadan North Federal Constituency. I'm focusing on the Labour Party in Ibadan North Federal Constituency.
What about your party in your state? Those who say it's almost non-existent. You only hear of course, the governor of the PDP and the APC that tries to play the opposition once in a while. You hardly hear from the Labour Party. And from what you said earlier, you were saying that people should focus more on your achievement as an individual, not the party.
Right.
What's your relationship with the party at the state level? How do you respond to the perception that you're almost non-existent at the state level?
No, I don't think that would be fair analysis. We do speak, and within the state, there are absolutely no issues. I still had a very productive meeting with the chairman of the Labour Party in Oyo State, Tunji Atayeshe, during this week. So there are no issues. That's why I said I cannot focus on the national issues right now. Things are coming.
So your party is behind you going into this?
100%. 100%. All the forces are working together to deliver Ibadan North. And that's our focus right now. And there are no division whatsoever within the Labour Party in this state and indeed within the federal constituency.
Well, maybe people believe that, as an opposition party at the state level, they need to be hearing from you more, telling them about government policies, pointing to government where they're getting it wrong, because there needs to be a lot of accountability at the state level. But we hardly hear from your party. That's why people are saying we only hear from the APC.
That's why I said I don't believe that would be a fair analysis. I read, I think it was last week, a full page interview with Alhaji Tunji Atayeshe.
Yeah.
Just last week. I read it. You read it as well. So I don't think that it would be fair to say that they are not speaking. You can say maybe they're not speaking enough, but also speaking, it has to do with resources as well. So there's a limit at which we can do. And like I said, we have an election. That's our focus right now. Right. We want to deliver that election, and that's what we are all focusing on.
Or is it because you have a close relationship with the state governor? Because I understand your father has been, in his government for some time in the TESCOM.
Yes, he has been. I am almost 50. My dad is almost 80. If at this point I cannot live my life, then there's a problem somewhere. So Femi Dexter Kelamu is a person in itself. My achievement speaks for himself, for myself. Whatever my dad has done, and I salute and it's a man that I have never ever been in a place where everybody say, "Oh, you're Akin Alamu." and they had anything bad to say about my dad. So I celebrate and appreciate, but I'm a person of myself. My achievements, I don't need to refer to my dad, to get some substance to my person.
Right.
Right.
You mentioned welfare bill. If you get elected, you said that would be your priority.
Yeah.
Although there's some conversation on ground right now, nationally, in the National Assembly before lawmakers, a lot of issues.
Right.
There's the issue of restructuring. Some are advocating for creation of more states. In fact, your state, some are already pushing for a new Oyo state, a new Ibadan state,
right.
Like that. There is the issue of state police. There is the issue of VAT,
right.
tax reform bill
Yeah.
that's before the National Assembly right now. So let's just pick them one by one. Hypothetically, if you
Right.
get elected, for instance, the VAT bill, how would you be voting? Remember, it has generated a lot of controversy. The North is saying it looks like it's skewed against us. Some governors are against it. The president is saying, look, it's going to ensure a more equitable distribution of VAT, across states. It's going to adopt a derivation formula based on what you generate. You get what you get the revenue from the federal government. So how would you be voting on this issue, for instance, if you get elected and it's on the table in the National Assembly?
Can I decline to answer all your questions about how I will be voting?
Yes.
On
or what do you make of it?
All
Let me
right,
put it
okay.
that way.
So
Yes.
if you talk about anything that is really about taxation right now, I believe that it is unfair to the people, that we shouldn't be thinking about putting extra burden on people to raise money for this country at this time, because my position is that
No, it's not just about raising taxes. About ensuring that there is a equitable distribution of
Right.
revenue accruing from taxes across all states.
I was heading somewhere with
Yes,
that.
yes.
And where I was heading is that I actually would think that if we took away something that belonged to the people with regards to fuel subsidy, there should be ways by which we're able to get that back to the people. So I feel slightly uncomfortable, and that's why I said, can I decline to answer some of your? I feel slightly uncomfortable talking about the distribution of these resources when the people are actually suffering.
Right. You said something about securing the life of every Nigerian.
Yes.
There's the advocacy for decentralizing the police force, creating a state police where each state has a control of its security outfit to be able to deal with security problems at the grassroots level. What do you make of something like that?
I 100% believe that community policing is the route to go, right? Why? Because the people within the grassroots are the people that really know what is happening. Within communities, they know the criminals themselves. So if you decentralize the police, and be able to get policing to be done at the grassroots level, and this is not just about state policing, I'm talking about even community policing beyond just the state, where that is totally decentralized, we're going to see more results.
Let me go to Prof now. Prof?
Yes, thank you very much. I was just wondering if you have issue with some of the points that have been raised by YUSUF. For instance, you are at the federal level, and you have to relate with the states, which then means you are actually playing an intergovernmental role between your calling at the national level and your constituency here. What you normally see happen is that people end up being more Abuja than they are Ibadan North.
Right.
And it's only in very exceptional cases that you find a balance.
Right.
The question is, what constituency relation framework? Because we've talked about structures of the political party, and you have also talked about your person as a candidate.
Right.
Yeah. So, what structures have you put in place around your constituency that will not put you at the mercy of the state governor?
Thank you so much. I believe, I don't know of any other candidate that does have an office opened within the constituency already, pre-winning. I don't know. I know that there are party offices, but I don't know of any other candidate that actually have their own constituency office even before they won. So I have a constituency office already. And what I intend to do is to keep that constituency office open when I win. And there will be continuous relations with the constituent. So much so that even if I am in Abuja because of lawmaking work, the real grassroots work within my constituency will never cease. So that constituency office will stay open. And, just like Barrister prophesied, I take it as prophecy, that I am actually winning that election. And when I win, that constituency office will stay open to be able to keep the conversations and the relations within the constituency going.
All right, Barrister.
Do you think?
Okay.
No,
all right.
Do you think one office in this large constituency? I mean, people are coming from Yemitu, people are coming from this roundabout, and then you are going up to Ojo or so.
Sure.
So you have only one constituency, and where is that constituency, by the way? And you think everybody will have to march to that place?
Okay, so I am saying that I have opened one constituency office before election, and this is why we're open that constituency office, so that we can keep the conversation going. As the needs demands it wouldn't take much to open up other constituency office. Even in opening that constituency office, we were very strategic as to the location. We looked at the constituents, the entire constituency, and we looked at where will be the center, where it will be convenient for almost everybody coming from. And then we chose Mokola because it's right in the center. Whether you're coming from as far as Bere, somewhere in the center, and if you're coming all the way from UI, it's right in the center. It's close to Mokola, Sabo, close to UCH and all of those areas. So we found that as the center to be able to allow people to be able to come in. But of course, as needs be, we would open other constituency office. We want to keep that engagement going within the federal constituency.
All right, Barrister.
Yes, thank you very much, Toba. Honorable, I didn't want you to decline my next question.
Okay, sir.
Yes, because you are going to represent us at the center, so you'll be playing, politics at the center. Sadly, like Toba alluded to earlier,
right?
Many of Labour Party representatives that are already in government appear to have gone asleep, despite all the promises that were made preparatory to their elections. I want to ask you for your assessment of the Tinubu administration so far. Do you think it's on the right trajectory? And if not, what do you think is not going right?
Right, okay. I mean, assessing, to start with the first question, assessing the people, particularly the Labour Party candidates who are within the National Assembly presently. I also do think that we should be fair to them. That you're not hearing me from the next room does not mean I'm speaking. I'm not speaking, rather. There might be other noises that might cloud my voice, right? And does not make my voice to be heard at the level that you may desire for it to be heard yet. But that does not mean I'm speaking. I'm not speaking. So we have to remember these are just only a few guys within the National Assembly. And it does not mean that they are not speaking. Those of us that within the party see some of the things that are going on that even the people on the outside may not see. So I would want us to be fair to them, even in criticizing, what they have been able to do. That's one. Secondly, on the Tinubu administration, I don't think I'm just one Nigerian, and I don't think that what I think really matters. What matters is what the voice of the people is saying. And quite clearly, the voice of the people is shouting, we are hungry. The voice of the people is shouting, this economy is killing us. And that is the report card. The report card is what the people are saying. And so, if the people are saying we're hungry, if the people are saying we're dying, if the people are saying that, we cannot continue this way, I think that any wise government ought to listen and, if need be, backtrack. That's one thing we don't want to do in this nation so many times. We take a position and it doesn't matter. I have taken the position. I don't care what happens. I think that the Tinubu administration sincerely needs to go back and look at the point at which, we started to go towards this trajectory. And if need be, adjust certain policies because it is bad.
Do you think we can actually go back? Because the argument of the president is that, this is the only choice we have. That's what they say, that we cannot keep defending the Naira. We cannot keep paying millions of dollars in fuel subsidy every month. That fuel subsidy has to go. That's the argument of the president. And that, we have to leave the Naira, the exchange rate to the forces of demand and supply. That's the only economic decision that makes sense right now. So when you say we should go back, are you saying we should return fuel subsidy? We should peg the Naira back to the days when we were borrowing to defend it?
I'm saying that I am not in a position to make those calls because I'm not a specialist in the economy, right?
Right.
But I do know that governance is firstly about the people. It's not about the policies. It's about the people. I am saying that the Nigerians are dying of hunger. I'm saying Nigerians have had it, right? I am saying it's unacceptable. I am saying that we need to go back to the table and look at what is wrong. It is all shades of wrong to make policies that brings hunger in the land and do nothing about the hunger. Right?
They say the pain is temporary. That's what they say. That's temporary.
This has been going almost 2
results.
years now.
Yeah.
How many Nigerians have died within those 2 years? That's the point. You can only be a president if you have the people to preside over. Your people are dying, right? You have to do something about it. It has nothing to do. I'm not going to criticize those policies and I'm going to say, oh, they should not have removed it. But I'm saying that even if you did, you should have sat down to analyze this is what is going to happen. So what are we going to do about it? And I'm not talking about sharing bags of rice. That's not what I'm talking about. Because those bags of rice, as it is today, the national minimum wage can only buy about 3/4 a bag of rice. Can't even buy a bag of rice. I mean, what are we talking about? How do the people really want to live? And if as government officials we realize we are there firstly for the people before anything else, it will change how we go about these things.
Well, you said your party shared hampers, Christmas hamper, and brought Santa Claus to children. I mean, isn't that the same model as sharing bags of rice?
Like I said, I have done shop for free in the city, as far back as 2010. So I'm not against support.
Right.
I am saying support is support. Support is not empowerment. Right, and so
palliative is palliative.
Palliatives is palliatives. You don't empower people with palliatives. Palliatives only comes as intervention. It only solves today. It doesn't take care of tomorrow. And there's a place for it, because you cannot talk to people about any other thing when they're hungry, right? And so there's a place for that. But I am also saying that beyond that, there needs to be something that we do that sustains the Nigerian.
All right, in case you're just joining us, it's the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. We've been speaking to Pastor Dexter Femi Akinlamu. He's an aspirant for Ibadan North Federal Constituency. He wants to represent the people in the House of Representatives in the next by-election. Remember, we're live on Facebook, 32 FM 949 Fenya. Drop your comment there, like the video and share it. We're back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Ẹ kú ojúmọ́, adarí ọkọ̀ bàálù yìí ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ lónìí. A ní àwọn àlejò pàtàkì pẹ̀lú wa nínú ọkọ̀ yìí. Àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ bẹ̀tánù 3 ni à ń fò lọ sí ìlú England láti lọ wo ẹgbẹ́ Aston Villa lójúkojú. A kí yín kú oríire o. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Emeka, Yemi àti Ibrahim.
Dáàlù bẹ̀tánù lẹ́nìí kí o bá lè jẹ àǹfààní ìrìnàjò tí a ti san gbogbo owó ìrìnnà rẹ̀ lọ sí ìlú UK láti lọ wo eré orí pápá mánigbàgbé ti ẹgbẹ́ Aston Villa pẹ̀lú Tottenham. Bẹ̀tánù alájọṣepọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ Aston Villa. Torí pípé tayò yìí ó wà fún ọmọ tó ti pé ọdún 18 lọ sókè. Àǹfààní yìí bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ 1 oṣù kọkànlá títí di ọjọ́ 28 oṣù kejì ọdún 2025.
Is it okay to make fun of our tooth gap? Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong. Stop cover your mouth. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. 0 cavities and fresh breath. If you use
tí kò lábàwọ́n ní ìfẹ́ ìyá jẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ kò sí ohun tó dùn tó bíi Indomie alájẹpọnu lákànlọ́. Nítorí náà, fi ìfẹ́ hàn pẹ̀lú Indomie.
ó ṣe ọlọ́run ògbójú mi jẹ́.
ẹnu ọgbẹ́ rẹ ò ní kàmágàjà kọ́láwọlé olóòtú ọmọ àdàbà níjà. ẹ gbọ́ dáadáa ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ló bọ́ ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ lójú o. aṣọ àǹkárá tá a mú ti ń tán lọ ọ̀pá mẹ́rin 10,000 naira ní kò sí ojú kejì. ọjọ́ Sunday December 1 ọdún yìí alárí ojú àgbà nǹkan gbé kánú. ìlú Ìbàdàn mi jigijigijigi. olóòtú ló ń ṣayẹyẹ 40 ọdún tó ti ń gbọ̀n sáfẹ́fẹ́ dàbí ẹ̀dùn rọ̀ bí òwe. ó máa wáyé njọ́gọ́ Center Liberty Road Òkè Àdó Ìbàdàn. Sunday December 1 ọdún yìí ni o. aago 10 àárọ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. ẹ̀bùn kẹrin àtẹ́gbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ owó tá a ṣèlérí ẹ̀ ti wà lẹ̀. mílíọ̀nù 5 náírà 5 million naira lè yẹn péré tí ó fi ṣe fàjẹ́. pásítọ̀ kọ́lá olóòtú kò di mílíọ̀nìyà. 10,000 naira péré lọ́pàá mẹ́rin. àǹkárá ti wà lé àwọn kọ́lá olóòtú lé adé súnlójẹ. lọ́dọọrùn kẹfà sàn. ẹ tún lè ríra ládójú kọ́lá Gẹ̀lú FM Fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti ra sọ ni ẹ máa gbárí sí tí ó lẹ́ẹ̀fì jẹ̀bù lọ́jọ́ yẹn. aláyélúwà sílẹ̀ làwọn màláìka lélẹ́rẹ́ wa. kọ́lá olóòtú ló gbé gbogbo wẹ́jẹ́ àjọ pàdé mbẹ́. a máa retí
Hello, abeg no vex. This Milo packet look different too. I see say dem write support energy release for this packet. Abeg, na the same Milo?
No, this na the new improved Milo. The support energy release means say when you give your pikin dem Milo as part of their breakfast, you dey give them enough energy wey dem need to go school.
Ah, I like this one.
Your pikin dem need nourishing energy. Make you give them the new improved Milo for breakfast. E get correct nutrients wey dey support energy release to help them use their day well. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! Ho, ho, ho!
Ẹ̀yin èwe ẹ kú àmójúbà bàbá kérésì tí ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9. ẹ máa bọ̀ wá pàdé rẹ̀ kíkàbọ̀ ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Riders Amusement Park ló ń kí gbogbo òbí wípé ẹ máa káwọn ọmọ yín bọ̀ ní kẹ̀tíkẹ̀tí láti wá gba àwọn ẹ̀bùn tó jọjú ní gbèsè lọ́dọ̀ bàbá kérésì tí ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 tó wà ní Games Area Palm Small Ring Road Ìbàdàn ní kẹ́ ẹ máa káwọn ọmọ yín bọ̀ láti wá dọ̀wọ́ ìdùnnú àtàwọn ẹ̀bùn rabandẹ bọ̀ọ̀kú abọ́gini 4 náírà péré lọ́mọ kan bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn ọmọ yín yóò tó láǹfààní àti fa àwọn ohun ìgbàlódé ṣeré ìdárayá dọ́wẹ́kẹ̀ mára jí pépé lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá fẹ́ ṣàgbẹ́tẹ̀rù pẹ̀lú ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 yálà ilé ẹ̀kọ́ lẹ́yìn jẹ́ tàbí ilé ìjọsìn ẹ̀lú sùnbọ̀rẹ́ 0704 174 981 tàbí bọ́láńlé 08100 06 72518 látọjọ́ ajé sọ́jọ́ àbámẹ́ta ní kẹ́ ẹ ti máa káwọn ọmọ yín wá ní kẹ̀tíkẹ̀tí aago 10 òwúrọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ní kí wọ́n máa dé sí gbọ̀ngàn bàbá kérésì lọ́jọ́ sátidé lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi láago 12 ọ̀sán bàbá kérésì kọ́ni 32 FM 94.9 yóò balẹ̀ bàbí bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ kìíní sọ́jọ́ 24 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2024 December 1st to 24th 2024 ẹ má gbàgbé wípé ètò Laughter Santa yóò máa tẹ̀ ẹ́wájú gorí afẹ́fẹ́ látọjọ́ ajé sọ́jọ́ ẹtì láago 4 kọjá 20 ìṣẹ́jú sáago 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lẹ́tọ̀ máa jẹ̀gbádùn ètò ọ̀hún lọ́jọ́ sátidé sọ́jọ́ ìsinmi látàgò 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ sáago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ gbẹ̀rẹ́ bàbá kérésì ìkànnì 32 FM tọdún ní máa lárinrin yàtọ̀.
My people, e no matter say the year 2024 go soon end yo, you too fit become landowner. Make you dey build your own house without wahala. Yes so, na Evertop Gratis Limited dey carry this ogbonge opportunity come meet you for the one wey dem call Evertop Ember Month promo. Wetin remain na for you to carry your leg come buy land for our estate dem wey dey for Isheri North, Arepo, Ewekoro, Shimawa plus include Agbarato for Ogun State, Ologunẹru, Ido and Moniya for Ibadan, including Epe, Ikorodu, Ibejuleki with Lekki Ajah for Lagos State, as well as the one wey dey for Awka for Anambra State. For this Ember Month promo, you go chopulate gift wey watch 20% of your initial deposit of 50,000 go reach 900,000 naira and 30% gift if you pay 1 million naira and above. Oya now, make we dey call Evertop Gratis Limited Ibadan office on top 0704 100 5004 to chopulate for Evertop Ember Month promo.
ìlera lọ́rọ̀.
lọ́rọ̀ mo gbà. èyí ló mú kí iléeṣẹ́ 𝐿1 Nigeria Limited tí wọ́n jẹ́ ògúnná gbòǹgbò nídìí à ń ṣe ìtọ́jú èyíkéyìí kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ tí mọ̀ bá yàn fínra nínú àgọ́ ara. máa pe gbogbo ènìyàn síbi àgbékalẹ̀ ètò kan àròtọ̀ tí wọ́n pe àkórí ẹ̀ ní ìlera lọ́rọ̀. ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lẹ́ka à ń fewéfegbò sọmọ aráyé lóore ni. ǹjẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn ní tìbútòrò ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ ìwọ̀ oòrùn ọ̀yọ́ ẹ kú oríire. 𝐿1 Nigeria Limited tó dárú ẹ̀ lásà ni wọ́n mọ̀ kalẹ̀ sí ọ̀yọ́ west lọ́jọ́ 12 sí ọjọ́ 14 oṣù kọkànlá 2024 ọjọ́ 16 sọ́jọ́ 19 oṣù kọkànlá ni wọ́n mọ̀ kalẹ̀ sí ọ̀yọ́ east bọ́bá tí wọ́n di ọjọ́ 21 sọ́jọ́ 23 ni wọ́n mọ̀ wà láàfin bàbá wa kábíyèsí akébíyó tìlú lọ́ra. gbogbo èèyàn pátá làǹfààní yìí wà fún o. bí ọjọ́ 1 sí ogójọ́ oṣù 12 lẹ́ẹ̀ma ní àǹfààní àti yọjú sí wọn lọ́fíìsì wọn tó wà ní ọjà òjé ńbàdàn tẹ́sí máa jàǹfààní ìtọ́jú ní ẹ̀dínwó. fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé 08034051533 ni ẹ máa pè. 𝐿1 àjọkẹ́ plaza tèmídìrẹ bus stop ládojúkọ ilé epo swift lójé ńbàdàn ni wọ́n wà. 𝐿1 ló wí pé a ò ní fa ìsàn sọdún o.
lọ́kàn ẹni tó fẹ́ talé-talẹ̀ tàbí dúkìá míì tó ṣe pàtàkì sí oríṣiríṣi èrò ní ó gbọ́kàn rẹ̀ lójúnà àti rí dúkìá náà ta.
báwo ni màá ṣe oníbàárà báwo ni ó ṣe pé mi ǹjẹ́ mo lè fọkàn tán abánitalẹ̀ yìí ṣé kí n tiẹ̀ polówó rẹ̀ lórí rédíò ni tàbí lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára níbo ni kí n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ta ló lè ràn mí lọ́wọ́ báwo ni wọn ò ṣe ní bọ́ sọ́wọ́ alágbèédá ṣó tiẹ̀ yẹ kí n gbé dúkìá ilé àtilẹ̀ yìí tà mo sì nílò owó láàrin ọjọ́ 7.
ṣe sùúrù ọ̀rẹ́ wa irú dúkìá wo ni wọ́n fẹ́ tà ilé ni àbílẹ̀ tó o sì fẹ́ kó lọ ní kíá kó dòwó. iléeṣẹ́ rédíò 32 FM pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ soft sand property ti gbé àǹfààní bàǹtàbàǹtà dé. bí o bá ní ilé àbí ilẹ̀ tó o fẹ́ tà lágbègbè tó dùn wò pẹ̀lú ìwé tó jiná máa bọ̀ wá sí 32 FM 94.9 nìbàdàn ọ̀fẹ́ làbọ̀ polówó rẹ̀ tí yóò sì bàjẹ́ ní kíákíá. ìfànlárè o tẹ àtẹ̀ránṣẹ́ tàbí pé
09164615000 àti 09115550055.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ló sì lè kàn sí www.softsandsproperty.com láti jẹ̀gbádùn àǹfààní yìí ìlànà àti àdéhùn wà o.
soft sand òrùlé fún tẹrú tọmọ.
I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop and easy to stir.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Bros abeg, I need engine oil. Now only 2 weeks don't go. Where this my Okada don't need servicing again?
Guy, what do you need na True for oil? Yes, so you not supposed to get wahala with your keke and Okada for even 1 day. That's now why you supposed to use the new True for oil. True for oil no cost at all. It go protect your engine and it go make your engine dey kakaraka and it go last for up to 6 weeks before you change the oil. Make you use True for oil today. True for oil dey available for all Bovas fuel station wey dey Naija. True for oil always dey for you. True for oil, not from the house of TVS.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9. When the people became silent,
the government became oppressive. It's time to lend your voice to politics.
On 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. The Podium on 32 FM 94.9. If you're just joining us, our guest this morning is Pastor Dexter Femi Akinlamu, who is running to be the representative of the Ibadan North Federal constituency in the Green Chambers of the National Assembly. We also have our panelists with us, Professor Emeriti, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan, and Barrister Yomi Ogunlola. Remember, you can join the conversation by calling 0705 5000 949 0829 7000 949. You can also drop your comment or your questions on Facebook as well. 32FM 949 Fenya. That's on Facebook. Let's see if we can take a call. Hello.
Hello, Carlo.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Carlo.
0705 5000 949 0829 7000 949. I was asking you about the some of the bills that have been passed or the issues on the table presently. Another issue is the issue of local government autonomy, financial autonomy for local government. Recently, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of local government, and they are the phase of implementation. I just want to ask you, there are those who have raised concern about accountability at the grassroots level, given what happened before the joint account was introduced by the Obasanjo administration back in 1999. What do you think of financial autonomy for local government, and how do we ensure accountability at the grassroots level?
If you see what has become of the local government in Nigeria, you know that I don't even think that we have a choice in that area. What we need to ensure is that there is enough accountability within there to be able to ensure that when the money goes to them, it actually goes for the benefit of the people. But you have to realize that the the governors that we have put the money in their care, have some kind of immunity, which is not there at the local government level. So, I mean, it's easier to hold people accountable at that level than it is to hold the governors accountable. So I will definitely go the route of local government autonomy.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please, I'm out to go.
No, this is 32 FM 94.9. Barrister? Hello, Barrister.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Now, there are people out there, and I know they're listening to us. Usually, they will say, Yomi is always very, very hard on the man at the center, the president of Nigeria. Since I have asked you your assessment of his administration, since inception, please permit me to also ask you your assessment of 𝐂𝐈𝐒 Makinde's administration in the last 5+ years. Is he truly a people's governor, or it is mere propaganda?
I think there's always room for improvement, but I would love to say that no doubt. I think that my assessment is that 𝐂𝐈𝐒 Makinde has been one of the best governors that Oyo State has ever produced in my time. And that's my own sincere assessment. But there's always room for improvement. That doesn't mean that I agree 100% with all of his policies. That doesn't mean I agree 100% with all the things that we're doing. And I believe that a lot more can be done. But I have to salute some of the things that we see.
So you think?
But just before we leave it, can you tell us, some of those policies that you have reservations about?
Right. So I believe that a lot more can be done. And I have to say that again, I've seen some improvement in our road networks of the immediate recent. But I was concerned about the roads prior to now. But I see a whole lot that's going on. I believe a lot more still can be done with regards to the road, apart from the new roads, the maintenance of the current roads.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please, I want to report a case that happened to me.
This is 32 FM 94.9. The program is the Podium. Yeah, finish your... Okay, let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Oh.
Hello.
Yeah, the line is breaking. Hello? The line is breaking. The connection is unstable. Please call us back if you can. Yes, you're making a point.
So I was just saying that there's always room for improvement. There are things, and he was asking about some of the policies that I think that I think also apart from the roads, I am not in agreement with his position with regards to local government autonomy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, let me go to Prof. Prof? Hello, Prof.
Yes, I'm happy that about your position concerning local government. And then, of course, there's a bill in the National Assembly thinking about setting up a new agency to conduct local government election, or handing over the election to a new body that will conduct the local government elections across the country. In other words, there's a thought going on within the National Assembly to remove 𝐶EC. Would you support that move?
I think that we waste a lot of money in Nigeria, so I will think that I don't believe that those elections should be conducted by a local body. I don't know why INEC cannot do it. I wouldn't support us wasting money setting up just another body just for the local government elections when we already have a body who takes care of elections in Nigeria. I think that INEC should conduct the elections.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the concern that, as I think you mentioned it earlier, about people losing confidence in the ability of INEC to deliver a credible and transparent election. Wouldn't that also play out at the local government level as well?
If we don't take care of whatever concerns that the people have with INEC, how are you sure the same thing will not play out in whatever body is set up? For me, I believe in saving money. I don't believe that we should waste national resources on things that by duplicating effort, right? So I think that what we should look at is a comprehensive bill that takes care of the concerns of the people with regards to electioneering in Nigeria. And setting up another body to take care of another set of election is not the answer, because the same concerns will show up, within those bodies as well.
And speaking of saving money or cutting costs, I mean, there are those who have advocated for the adoption of a unicameral system of legislature, as opposed to the bicameral that we have now. They say it would be more cost effective, and it should fast track the process of governance instead of waiting for the House of Appropriation Committee, for instance, to sit on the budget to do their oversight. Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Adekola. First, let me take some of the issues that your guests talked about this morning. Right. The reality is different from what all that is saying. It's talking as if it's looking at the National Assembly of the United States or the National Assembly of the UK. The reality is that the pet of office in the National Assembly, it will also be part of it. What I expect him to say is that, okay, when he gets in there, it will softly make an attempt to change the status quo. But for you to tell me that you will not be part of what is happening there, I laugh. Because the reality we all know in Nigeria now is that the National Assembly is taking
Mr. Dekola? Oh, it appears we've lost connection. Okay, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It appears we've lost connection with him. Okay, do you want to
I appreciate his
he says you're not being realistic position about the Nigerian
that's his position. I vehemently disagree with him, and I think he should just keep on laughing. That's my position. I mean, he's a Nigerian, he's well entitled to his position.
Right. So I was going to ask you about the National Assembly. People say unicameral legislation is going to save costs and it's going to fast track the process of governance. Instead of waiting for the members of the Senate to do this, the House of Rep also do theirs. We have just one single House of a National Assembly. What do you make of that? And if that happens, some people have to lose their
job as it is. I will say that it certainly does make sense. We're struggling as a nation financially, and that's been as a result of a long-term abuse, of what our national resources, I should say, and so we have to sit down. I believe that we have to sit down and look at all of these things. And so, why can't if one house can do it, why have two?
And then I'm sure you're saying this because you're going to the House of Rep, and that has more representative of the people than the Senate, because the idea is that the House of Rep is going to have every corner of the country represented in that house, as opposed to the Senate, which is a bit more conservative, if you like.
I'm saying it because it's the right thing to do. Toba, I am not looking for a job. I am busy enough. I run a business.
But you want power. You want power.
I run a business that employs over 50 people today. I pastor a church that is doing well nationally and globally. So I'm not looking for what to do. I'm looking for an opportunity. For constitutional power. I'm looking for the opportunity to serve my people
with
more.
Constitutional power.
Constitutional power, will help me do that. But if I don't have it, I will continue to do whatever I can do for the betterment of our nation. So I'm not a power freak. I'm not desperate to get into power. I am saying that because it is the right thing to do.
So
and
it
has nothing to do. I'm more for Nigeria than Dexter Femi Akinlamu.
Right. Let me go to Prof. Prof?
Yes. I think the man who called in was trying to emphasize the fact that it's very challenging to be in the National Assembly and stand out. I think to buttress that point, one, for instance, want to ask if you have been in any kind of organization like that where you have stood up against
The status quo.
a popular idea that you think is really very wrong.
Okay, so I've tried to use words to communicate this all throughout this interview, that I am not unaware of the challenges. I am not playing down on the realities that will crop up. I've even talked about the fact that there will be negotiations in some places, and where you stand is where there should be no gray area about. You're going to have to work with people. All of my adult life, right? I am just under 50. I have been pastoring for 27 years. So that makes me a pastor from about 22 years of my life. So I've dealt with people all of my life. So I know people. There is politics in church. That's what people don't understand sometimes. You have
maybe
to
that's
take
where
positions.
Prof is trying to
you have to
ask
take,
you that.
You have to take positions. So I'm not playing down on the challenges. I'm not unaware of Nigeria as it is. I am not. I am just saying that it is possible to be a man of principle. It is possible to stand for the right thing. It is possible. People have, and I'm not saying this because it will always be easier said than done.
Yes.
People have lost their life for Nigeria, for standing for something. That's how we got independence. How did we then become a set of selfish people that will only think about their ideas, what is good for them and what is good for their stomach alone? We have to have true patriotism in Nigeria. People who genuinely love this nation and want the best for this nation.
Barrister? Hello, Barrister.
Yes, Toba, thank you very much. Now, let me take Honorable up on a very, very sensitive issue.
Right.
There is a current issue that has refused to go in national discourse. The role of the church in the socio-economic and political life of Nigeria. Some schools believe the church has been complicit in the present rot bedeviling the country. For instance, some believe that the church has been very, very active in the memorization. Please take the word, I hope they will put it in the dictionary shortly. Memorization of our people. Secondly, extortion of the people. You find some of the churches are already advocating for 20%, 30% in sites, given to churches. And not only that, they have been friends of political thieves from whom they receive 10%, as offering, as the case may be. You are a pastor.
Yes, sir.
And you are in politics. What is your assessment of the role of the church in the present mess? Because it appears that they are furthering the imperialist agenda in Nigeria. But what is your position?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. So I believe this is my thought process on this matter. I think that the nation sometimes is not fair to the church, right? Obviously, the church is not perfect. Obviously, there are dimensions of abuse that goes on in the church. Obviously, there are fake pastors. Obviously, there are people within the church who have taken people for granted and have abused their position of influence within the society. Obviously. However, there are still a whole lot that the church in Nigeria has contributed to national development.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like we don't see those. It is the challenges that we always see, which I think sometimes it's not fair. We don't stop using doctors because we caught a fake doctor. The place of the doctor is there and cannot be compromised because of what they do. That the fact that there are few bad elements within the system doesn't mean that all doctors are bad. So that's what I think. what should the church be doing? I believe that the church should get involved in not just the spiritual well-being, but even the social, economic well-being of people. And in fairness to the church, this is happening, right? The church comes out a whole lot of times and do a whole lot of support for people. Yeah. There are things that can be improved within the church. I mean, I am of the opinion that what God has sent us to do is to try and influence the system for righteousness. And when I say righteousness, I'm using the word righteousness to mean the right thing.
But do you share the concern of some Nigerians, as Pastor mentioned earlier, that the church sometimes looks like it's being politicized? We saw the various ways different pastors were going in the build up to the 2023 election, all kinds of prophecies. Some of them even said that they saw a prophecy that the military took over the country, and they were defending it in front of their congregation. We saw what some of them did during the COVID years as well. Some allegedly preaching to the congregation not to get vaccinated, the anti-vaccine theory, even beyond Nigeria as well. And then there is a concern that because of the level of the current economic situation, how people are impoverished, that, the church should de-emphasize the issue of seed sowing. That's what some people say, sowing of seed, paying of tithe and everything. And they should look for ways to support the people instead of putting pressure on them. So those two issues now.
Okay, so this is what I was saying, that there are bad elements. If you ask me, I don't think that what prophecy is about is declaring who is going to win an election. I don't believe that.
Because we had a lot of prophecies. I'm sure you saw them.
I'm going there.
Yes.
That is not about what football team is going to win. I don't mean that's what prophecy is about. Prophecy is about building up, So sometimes there could be abuse in that area. I don't see why somebody he's trying to say this is the person that way. If God shows you, he shows you for intercessory purposes. It shows you so that you can pray. It shows you so that you can hold, not so that you can.
So you shouldn't tell your congregation.
I don't believe so. And that is me.
All right.
Right? Because sometimes these things do more harm than good. Right? Even if you know, right? It is for you to know, and it is for you so you can pray. It is for you in your position that you hold as a watchman on the wall, right? So that's my position, and that's why I said that yes, there is a lot of there is some abuse of power, I should say, not a lot, and I believe. But you see, what we see on social media is the minority.
Minority? These are big churches, very big churches in Lagos. Big churches in major cities.
Do you know how many churches?
With millions of, members.
Do you know how many churches in Nigeria? Let me tell you my position as well when it comes to finances within the church.
Sowing of seeds, paying of tithe in this current economic situation.
You cannot ask an organization not to raise money. You cannot. What you should do is to say that the money that we get should go into social economic good. Right? If people decide to give for a church, it is well within their prerogative to use their money. What I believe should not happen is manipulating people to give towards any entity.
So would you say there's a kind of manipulation now in the system?
Sometimes these things happen, and we have to admit that it happens, but it doesn't mean that it's happening everywhere. This is why I say that some of these things are the minorities. We don't talk about do you know how many churches have scholarship programs that are helping people? I have talked about the fact that as a pastor, I do shop for free, where we help people, and do all of these things. The church does that. Right? And I think that we should give more publicity to some of these things that the church does, right? But it will not be fair. I mean, nobody is talking about, and with due respect to the imams, nobody says that when imams go there, they should not ask for money when they pray. Nobody, but it's always the church. It's always the church. The church does this, the church does that. And yes, there are bad elements within the church, and I admit it, and I'm the first to say that. But that's not all the church is about. There's more to the church, and I think that some of those conversations need to be had as well.
And quick one, do you think a pastor or a non-religious figure should openly support a certain candidate going into an election?
They have a right to. They are a Nigerian. What they should not do is to impose my belief on everybody else under my influence. I can even campaign and say, I think that we should go, but you have liberty because you are a Nigerian. The fact that I am a pastor doesn't make me less a Nigerian. So I have a right to support whoever I want to support, but I cannot force, even as a candidate within my church, right? I cannot force everybody to buy into my political ideology, right? Everybody has to have the right of expressions. And within my church, there are people who are APC, there are people who are PDP, and I respect them because we can all share the same ideology. What is more important to me is the kingdom of God.
Yeah. And do you think politicians use the church as a tool sometimes, because in the build up to election, you see them going to this, retreats and, what do they call it now? Conventions, right, where the pastor lays his hands, endorses them, anoints them, going to the election. Let me see if we can squeeze this call in. Hello. Oh, all right. Yes. Do you think they use it as a tool?
Absolutely they do, right? And, they would always do it. It is us and pastors that because on us to be responsible and to really give the people the opportunity to look at people beyond who they claim to be during elections and to be able to trace them, because who you are is not who you are when it's election time. Who you are is who you are before and after elections, and we don't know who you will be after elections. So the only benefit that we have is to look at who you are saying. So let's study people. People do tell us who they are. It's just that sometimes we choose to believe something else.
All right, Prof, final round of question because we're wrapping up.
Okay, that's great. Yes, the conversation on the role of the Christian churches. Should it be confined to election alone? I think people are complaining now that there seems to be some biases, especially among the pastors of the mega churches, the GOs.
The Pentecostal churches.
When Jonathan was on, their voice was strong, but now it seems they've all gone into silence. If anything at all, they say they are diverting the electorate from facing the issues by telling them that prayer is what Nigeria needs. What's your opinion on this?
Right, I certainly will agree with every voice that says that Nigeria.
Let's see if we can take this in. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Samuel, sir. Please, sorry for saying the greater prof. I'm having eye problem. I need help.
Sorry about that. Okay, so you can finish your thoughts.
So I was going to say, I certainly agree with every voice that says Nigeria needs prayers. I just don't agree with the fact that Nigeria needs prayers alone. Right? Prayers alone cannot solve anything. We need to pray, we need to act, we need to move. Right? So we should do everything. I don't believe also in the school of thought that believes that, we should stop talking about the fact that we need to pray. Yeah, we certainly do need to pray, but we need to do more than pray as well, because there are certain things that God will not do, right? There are certain things that we must do. If we say 2023 did not end up the way we wanted, it wasn't a God matter, it was a people matter. So we need to also act beyond praying.
Right, hello. All right, Barrister, we're wrapping up.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable.
Yes, sir.
This is the laughter station. We love to make our guests laugh as a therapy for the times.
Please, I really need to laugh.
Okay, and you know that I have been Nostradamus, earlier about your chances at the election.
Right.
So, I ask, will you remember us when your kingdom comes? Or will need to book appointments 6 months in advance to see you?
Thank you for making me laugh, Barrister. But we certainly do have a relationship now, and that relationship, I am hoping that I would have the privilege to keep it going. So that relationship will always be there. The doors are always open for whatever you can contribute to our government when we get there.
But when you get there, we still have to go through series of aides, special assistants, media aides, personal assistants as well. Because you have them. You have legislative aides. They will be appointed for you. Yes.
I even have them now.
All right. I mean, you would have more. You would have more. The party will give you.
Even in my position, but there are a lot of other people who do have direct access to me, who have my phone number. Certainly. And I'm hoping that Barrister and Prof will be in that category.
Definitely. And Barrister, being Nostradamic is antithetical to the principles of Christianity that Honorable believes in here. So, I'm just saying.
No comment.
Because Nostradamus. So, all right, Barrister, thank you so much. Prof, thank you. We have to go now. Thank you to our guest, Pastor Dexter Femi Akinlamu, who is aspiring to be the representative of Ibadan North Federal Constituency in the next by-election taking place sometime next year. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation.
Thank you, Toba. I've had tremendous fun here. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Barrister. It's been great having been here.
All right, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you to my producer, Gwalabo Famous Cole. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning. Bye for now.
Just because you do not take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you.
The funds spent were properly spent because we got them from intervention funds.
Only you waka come. There is God.
I don't know which party my wife belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen and my living room and the other room.
Stay in tune with politics on 32 FM 94.9.
Adúkẹ́ jọ̀ọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run sórí bàbá akéré sí ọdún máa wà lára ìyan ní àrí ìpín náà ní mèrè èmi